यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना
यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना
यमुनतीरावनचारी
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 जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज विहारी
राधा माधव कुञ्ज विहारी
जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा
कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा
जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग
निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 Prabhupada ki jai. Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvrajagacharya Ashtottara Shri Smas Divine Grace Abhay Charna Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya served the whole world. Vishwaguru Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai. Shri Krishna Rukmini Satyabhama ki jai. Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26 and Text 46. Bhavanam Brahmanaha Sthanam Bhavanam Brahmana Sthanam Dharanam Sadvisheshanam Dharanam Sadvisheshanam Sarva Sattva Guna Udbedaha Sarva Sattva Gunodbedaha Prudvi Vritti Lakshanam Prudvi Vritti Lakshanam Bhavanam Brahmanasthanam Dharanam Sadvisheshanam Sarva Sattva Gunodbedaha Prudvi Vritti Lakshanam Bhavanam Brahmanah Sthanam Dharanam Sadvisheshanam Sarva Sattva Gunodbedaha Prudvi Vritti Lakshanam
Bhavanam Brahmana Sthanam Dharanam Sadvisheshanam Sarvasattva Gunodbhedaha Prithvi Vritti Lakshanam.
Sadvisheshanam Sarvasattva Gunodbhedaha
Sarva Sattva Gunodbedaha
Prithvi पृथ्वीवृत्तिलक्षणं
भावनं ब्रह्मणस्थानं धारणं सद्विशेषणं सर्वसत्त्वगुणोभेदं पृथ्वीवृत्तिलक्षणं
Bhavanam, modeling forms, Brahmanaha, of the Supreme Brahman, Sthanam, constructing places of residence, Dharanam, containing substances, Sat Visheshanam, distinguishing the open space, Sarva, all, Sattva, of existence, Guna, qualities, Udbedaha, the place for manifestation, Prithvi, of earth, Vritti, of the functions, Lakshanam, the characteristics. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: the characteristics of the functions of earth can be perceived by modeling forms of the Supreme Brahman, by constructing places of residence, by preparing pots to contain water, etc. In other words, the earth is the place of sustenance for all elements. Please repeat: the characteristics of the functions of earth can be perceived by modeling forms of the Supreme Brahman, by constructing places of residence, by preparing pots to contain water, etc. In other words, the earth is the place of sustenance for all elements. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Different elements such as sound, sky, air, fire, and water can be perceived in the earth. Another feature of the earth, especially mentioned here, is that earth can manifest different forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By this statement of Kapilas, it is confirmed that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahman, has innumerable forms which are described in the scriptures. By manipulation of earth and its products such as stone, wood, and jewels, these forms of the Supreme Lord can be present before our eyes. When a form of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu is manifested by presentation of a statue made of earth, it is not imaginary. The earth gives shape to Lord's forms as described in the scriptures. In the Brahma Samhita, there is a description of Lord Krishna's lands, the variegatedness of the spiritual abode, and the forms of the Lord playing a flute with his spiritual body. All these forms are described in the scriptures, and when they are thus presented, they become worshipable. They are not imaginary, as the Mayavadi philosophy says. Sometimes the word bhavana is misinterpreted as imagination, but bhavana does not mean imagination. It means giving actual shape to the description of Vedic literature. Earth is the ultimate transformation of all living entities and their respective modes of material nature. Dasanasta Bhaktivedanta Purpoto Madhyanatimadandasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are reading from the chapter titled Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. When Mother Devahuti asks Lord Kapila to explain the process of liberation, Kapila starts detailing the fundamental principles of material nature, where we are existing today. So he is describing various elements and tanmatras. Elements we know, Mahabhutani, the five Mahabhutani elements like earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and tanmatras. That means in the sky there is sound, and in the air there is a touch. For example, fan is blowing the air, and you can feel the touch. Then one more element, tanmatra, gets added. Then fire. Fire element means you can see the forms. Then after fire, then there is a water. Taste is added. Water is objectification of taste. And then comes the earth, and that is, it includes smell also. Nice. Punya Gandha. Krishna says it is me. So here, Prudvi Vritti Lakshanam. Prudvi Vritti. There is a function for the earth, Prudvi. Now, who assigned this function? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this world, nothing is existing accidentally. Everything has come by a conscious creation, and that creation also happened in such a way that everything has been assigned a particular function. Something is existing because it is supposed to do some function. It has to contribute to something. Ultimately, the whole creation has to contribute to two functions. One is to facilitate the jiva's perverted enjoyment, and second is also to give a chance for the jiva to get liberation. So, as part of the Lord's creation, of course, earth is there. This Prithvi has some vritti, functions are there. Although we don't observe, we don't realize how silently the earth is contributing. It is executing its functions, we don't know. So that's why here Kapila is saying, what are the characteristics? How can you perceive? Earth is functioning, but how can you perceive? Right? How do you perceive that earth is functioning? One is Bhavanam Brahmanaha. The first Lakshana is that you can model the forms of the Supreme Brahman. This is, so whenever you see modeling of some forms of the Supreme Brahman, you know that is earth function can be understood by that. You can model. So this is the first Lakshana. Then Sthanam. Sthanam means place for constructing residences. Moment you see construction going on of the residences, that is also Vritti Lakshanam. Earth is doing some function by which we are able to build the residences, and then Dharanam sad visheshanam. Dharanam means substance distinguishing from the open space. Now everything is open space. But now you have to create something to contain a substance. Like Prabhupada is saying in the translation, preparing pots to contain water. Now he has put a glass here. It is distinguishing from the open space. Yes or no? And that distinguishing function and containing the water, that's the lakshana of the earth. This is also earth only. Earth and its products. But it is able to distinguish from the sadvisheshanam, from the open space, and able to contain some substance. Then sarva sattva gunodbhedaha. It is the sustenance, place of sustenance for all elements. Sarva sattva gunodbhedaha. Prudhvi vritti lakshanam. These are the characteristics of Prudhvi. How do you identify Prudhvi's function? Particularly function. Function means action. These are the sentences. So, Bhavanam Brahmanaha. Prabhupada is elaborating on this in his purport. The main function, main feature of the earth is that you can model the forms of the Supreme Brahman. That means the concept of deity worship, you can see here, is there from Lord Kapila. Yes, Kapila has approved. Lord Kapila Muni is explaining that how earth can be used to model the forms of the Supreme Brahman. That means the deity concept is very much part of the Sanatana, the Bhagavata Dharma. And those forms that are made, the deity forms, they are not bhavanam, they are not imagination as interpreted by some Mayavadis. Some groups, they don't believe. Some religions, they don't believe in this concept of deity worship, but here we can see that is actually one of the vrittis, functions of the earth, is to model the forms of the Supreme Brahman. So they have not even understood the basic function of the earth. It can create the forms. And one more thing is that here it is said, modeling the forms of the Brahmana, Supreme Brahman. It never said you can model the forms of politicians. Every road you go, you will see some 2-3 statues. Each party will have some 2-3. And the nation will have another 2-3. It's crowded with all these forms. And they're all dead. There is nothing there. Neither authorized in the Shastras. And the modeling forms are the Supreme Brahman. Bhavanam Brahmanaha. So, Prabhupada is explaining, in the Vedic scriptures there are descriptions about various forms of the Lord. Like Krishna. From Brahma Samhita we know his appearance and also how he stands in a Tribhanga form, what kind of ornaments he wears, like a one Vaijayanti Mala, what kind of a dress, then he holds a flute, and then there is a peacock feather. Very vivid descriptions are there. Also how he decorates with his face, with some natural colors. He puts it on the cheeks and on his face. Sometimes during deity worship also, we see devotees doing that. So these are all bona fide descriptions. Jai Krishna Rukmini Satyabhama ki jai. These are all the bona fide descriptions from the Shastras, and giving a shape to that by modeling taking some earth and modeling it accordingly, Prabhupada says it's a bona fide process. It's not imagination, but rather it's a bona fide. So once you mold a form like that, then it becomes worshipable. So that's what here is mentioned. Prabhupada is saying, all these forms are described in the scriptures, and when they are thus presented, they become worshipable. So when we present that using modeling the earth, then they become worshipable. So we can see it's a very ancient tradition, modeling the forms of the Supreme Lord and worshipping them as per the Agama and Shastric injunctions. It is a bona fide process. Prabhupada explains that at least in the beginning stages, we need deity worship. Although in this age, Sankirtana, chanting of the holy names, is the only method that works, but nonetheless, for sadhakas like us, deity worship is extremely important. So, Prabhupada mentions that in our sampradaya, this deity worship and this Nama Sankirtana should go on parallel lines. Like a train moves on two parallel lines, then only the train can be smooth and steady. Similarly, our Krishna consciousness can go on steadily only on these two lines of Pancharatrika Vidhi and Bhagavat Vidhi. So that's why deity worship is present and recommended in our sampradaya, and we can see that that is existing from time immemorial. Here also Lord Kapila is explaining that happens to be the Prudhvi Vritti. It is actually the function of the earth to be able to create, manifest the Lord's forms. So once the Lord's form is created, and as per the Agama, there is an installation ceremony. The Supreme Lord descends into the form that we have made, and he receives the worship from the devotees. In order to give us a chance to directly relate with Krishna, relate with the Supreme Lord, he has given this facility of deity worship. This is very important. We are directly relating with the Supreme Lord. So, as we read Prabhupada's purports, try to internalize those statements, gradually we will perceive the Lord's presence. Now, we all know on the authority of Prabhupada that Lord is present personally. And we are also dealing with him according to the instructions given by Prabhupada. But then, when we sometimes when we become little familiar, we don't remember that I am directly dealing with the Supreme Lord. That's why under regulations, one has to worship the Lord in the beginning, and gradually we'll perceive the presence of the Supreme Brahman. So, Bhavanam Brahmana Sthanam, that means constructing places of residence. Of course, obviously we can see that. There is a whole industry to construct the places, real estate and all that. And that is possible only because earth is able to support. Earth is supporting this. And constructing includes constructing temples. So, in order to install the deity, it has to be a proper temple. And those temples are also should be on the basis of shastras and agamas. So that's why Prabhupada has personally shown how we should construct temples. He himself built a lot of temples in India and particularly in Juhu, Mumbai, Abids, Hyderabad, Mayapur. In important places and cities, Prabhupada wanted the temples to be built, particularly in India. In India, real preaching means building, constructing temples according to the perception of the people. If you simply do some street sankirtans and we don't have a grand temple like this, particularly in India, they don't consider that as some kind of a big preaching. It doesn't attract their attention. But let us say you have a big temple like this, then automatically people will recognize, oh, they're coming from Dakshin Dwarka Dham, they're coming from Golden Temple, like that. There is a great importance. And as soon as the temple is ready, constructed and ready, people come in hundreds and thousands. Initially they come maybe few numbers, but when they relate with the deities, they feel reciprocation, and you will see gradually the numbers will grow up. They become more and more popular. The deity forms becomes very attractive, and people start putting them as wallpapers and calendars, and you see the forms of the deities becomes very popular and is very auspicious. When people can remember these forms, very auspicious. Ultimately, Krishna consciousness means able to always think about Krishna. This is Krishna consciousness. Always thinking of Krishna, Krishna's form, Krishna's name. So that opportunity has come because of the deity forms. And that is Prudhvi Vritti Lakshana. That is actually function of the earth. In 18th chapter also, Krishna explains that if you want to accomplish anything, there are 5 factors. You want to produce anything, accomplish anything, there are 5 factors. And the first factor is adhisthanam, tata karta, karanam. So first factor is adhisthanam. That means a place. You need a place. For an individual, the place is this body itself. But let us say there is a business or something you need to do. You want to set up a small restaurant, a small hotel. The first thing is you need a place. So all such places are provided by this Prudhvi Vritti. The first thing is place. That's why if you want your business to be successful, whatever your venture to be successful, or your temple should be successful, the first thing is what is the best place? What is the appropriate place for this? So that's why, for example, here our temple is right on the beach. We can see the ocean right next to us. A very unique location. Very, very unique location. It's not even 5-star. I mean, where will you get ocean in a 5-star? It is something unimaginable. So that makes it very unique. And also the name was also given very uniquely. Like Dwaraka is on the beaches of a ocean. Similarly, this is also on the beach. So devotees, they're very intelligent. They identify the place, appropriate place. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions that we should have our temples in the most crowded parts of the city. Not that Prabhu is so much sounds, pollution, and health issues, this, that. So let me go to some farm or rural area somewhere and then I will live there. No, our acharyas have proclaimed that we should be in the most crowded place. This is the important criteria for temples. Of course, you can also have a farm project. That also Prabhupada has encouraged. For preaching, we have to be in the midst of crowded places. Obviously, let us say you want to preach to the students. You have to be close to the colleges, universities, and if possible, take a place there. Again, place is required. But where will you take the place? That we have to look at our own importance, our own requirement. So that is sthanam. Very important it is. Anything you want to do, this sthanam is very important. And then comes dharanam. It can contain. Dharanam means it can sustain. It can take it. So that is that is one more function. Like so many things we are utilizing, which are all made of earth. That's because earth has that vritti, that function is there. It itself supports that function. Then only we are able to do it. So that's why dharanam is one thing. And sarvasattva gunodbhedaha. It is actually place of sustenance for all elements. So such a nice, wonderful scientific explanation of these fundamental principles of material nature. So the science, what we know, it also explains the characteristics. For example, now air is blowing. Science will say the speed of the air, it is trying to define characteristics. How do you define air? They will say the velocity and what is the number of that velocity? That means velocity of some 20 kilometers per hour, 50 kilometers per hour. And what is that? There are so many parameters. What else is there for the air? One is the speed, and then direction, maybe the sound, what kind of a, sometimes very, what do you call, terrific winds will create a, much big sounds. So they say all this, but when they say some 20 kilometers per hour wind is blowing, we don't know. Why? We cannot perceive. With our senses, we cannot perceive. But let us say there is a cold air is blowing, I can directly perceive. Touch. From my touch, I can directly perceive the air. Now see the difference. The modern parameters have to be converted into our experience. You have to convert that 20 kilometers per hour, whatever, and then see how to perceive that speed. Now here, Sankhya philosophy here, what is explaining is, you see the touch, the force of the touch. Let us say you stand here, wind is blowing nicely, you can feel, right? You can directly feel. By your touch, you can feel. See, the touch is the perceivable quality. This is the difference between the science and the modern science and the fundamental principles. So in Bhagavatam, when you see, the things are described by our perceivable senses. Senses can directly perceive. For example, here, and Prudhvi Vritti Lakshana, how earth is functioning, I want to see. It's saying, okay, you see, houses coming up, that is one function. Holding something, that is one function. You are seeing the forms of the Supreme Lord, that's also one function. So you can perceive. But if you ask some scientists, they'll say, earth means, first of all, what is that? And then how do I perceive? Earth is moving at some so and so thousands and thousands of kilometers per hour, they'll say. That we are not perceiving. See, so the parameters by which they describe and the parameters by which Sankhya philosophy describes is different. Here you can directly perceive. This is the beauty of this philosophy. There is no need of artificial instruments. You can directly perceive and then you can experience. So that is the explanation. So Prabhupada is elaborating on this DT concept that these forms are not misinterpreted. It is misinterpreted as imagination. These forms are not imagination. Because why? Sometimes you see these Mayavadis, they come up with their own imagined forms. It says Supreme Brahman, and of course Krishna also permits forms of the Devatas. Like we have Ganesha festival time, the whole India, maybe the whole world, they make these forms of Vinayaka. But sometimes we also see, in some pandals and all I have seen, Vinayaka is playing cricket, or is playing, or in a very unique form, pant and shirt like a doctor. Like a now these things are not recommended in the Shastra. They are not bona fide form. That means you cannot mold the earth the way you want. In order to make the forms, even to mold it also into a form, you need the authorized guidance from the Shastras and from the scriptures. Simply one cannot use his imagination. So Mayavadis, they think anyway these forms are all imagination. And so I can also imagine. Why I have to refer to the Shastra? I can also imagine and do whatever forms that I feel like. That's why we see all these crazy combinations. In this age we can perceive. So that is not accepted. Here it is said that they misinterpret that this is just an imagination. Like in Andhra, there is one trend. I went to one temple, because it's a Balaji temple, and after the darshan, there is in the corner there is one more temple. So we went to that temple also. So I was shocked to see that it's a Vinayaka's deity, and on the lap of Vinayaka, Lakshmi is seated. It's called Lakshmi Ganesha. That's the temple. So I went there. Then I looked at the pujari. I said, what am I seeing? This is who is there on the lap of Vinayaka? He says, it's Lakshmi Devi. I said, how is it that the Lakshmi is on the lap? Vinayaka is like a son, son of Lakshmi, and then how you can place it like this? Do you have any basis? See, immediately we all question, right? Where is the basis? Where did the scripture say that you can keep Lakshmi? Generally, Lakshmi is kept by, say, Narasimha or Vishnu because she is his consort and it's a very intimate posture. So, imagining, see, what is this materialist, their requirement? They want Lakshmi. A lot of money they want. And they don't want any obstacles to enjoy that Lakshmi. Now they want Vinayaka. Now you combine these two. And then you make your own form. Now these things are not authorized. We went to, there is one more temple, there is some Dashavatar temple. All the incarnations of Vishnu, 10 incarnations, he has put that into one form. Now, is there any basis for this? He says, no, I saw this in my dream. I said, okay, Hare Krishna. So people, gets into this kind of a combination as if it's just a question of combination, that's all. What is there? You are anyway modeling form and then you are worshipping. And now you also imagine something and model it. It's not like that. Deities are not some mud or earth. Deities are living personalities. Krishna means Krishna, Trivanga form and flute and all those things. And when there is a deity installed, the Lord is personally present. You cannot just imagine. Somebody cannot create his own form and then say, no, this is Krishna. So that's why Prabhupada is condemning this Mayavadi's misinterpretation of this shloka, particularly this bhavana. They say bhavana means according to your bhavan. Looks very logical, no? Prabhupada is translating it as modeling forms. Now this is one more important thing. If you get into Sanskrit and try to figure out the meaning, then we will be misled. That's why Prabhupada didn't encourage some of his disciples wanted to learn Sanskrit and all that. He didn't encourage. He said, whatever Sanskrit you want to learn from my purports. So now you learned bhavana here means modeling forms. Somewhere else bhavana could be something else. Your internal bhavana. That is also correct. But here, what meaning to use, that is only an acharya can decide. A Sanskrit scholar cannot decide. If he decides, it will be like this. Imagination, he will say. And he'll say, you can mold the forms according to your imaginations. That's why language, scholarly approach has to be carefully done. Devotees, yes, we all have to be scholarly, but that scholarliness should be on the basis of Prabhupada books. You quote from Prabhupada, you prove that your particular angle, whatever you are describing is accurate. You should be able to prove. Prabhupada says in Vaishnava circles when we discuss, whatever we discuss we should be able to quote from Prabhupada books. We may say we are quoting from Shastra, Prabhu, some Shastra I know. We can quote. Now, the point is, yes, there are many scriptures are there, but then the interpretation of those scriptures and giving a bona fide purports and translations, that is not available. Only a pure devotee, when he does that, giving translations and purports, then that becomes Brahman. That becomes non-different from Krishna. That's why, of course, if Prabhupada is quoting from various scriptures to give the clarity on certain point, and that is very nice. You can enjoy all these shlokas and memorize those shlokas first before jumping into many other things. So that's why interpretation has to be carefully done, and it should be a bona fide process. So the Mayavadi's interpretation is not at all. Their ultimate goal is that all these forms are temporary. Whatever, it's all just imagination. They're meant to give a focus to your mind. Ultimately, it's all impersonal. That's what they're moving to. Currently, we're all conditioned, so we need some form to see, some form to worship. So that's why these forms are existing. But ultimately, it's just impersonal. So that's why we have to be very careful not to fall for this Mayavadi interpretations. And finally, earth is the Sarva Sattva Gunodbhedaha. It is the place of sustenance for all elements. So Prabhupada is concluding the purport by saying, earth is the ultimate transformation of all living entities and their respective modes of material nature. Basically, the bodies, the living entities' bodies, ultimately will merge into the earth. That is the ultimate transformation. Either it will become ash or it will become part of the stool or whatever. In whatever way, the bodies will become part of the earth again. And from the earth again, all those elements will be given to us. All kinds of sustenance comes from us. And so, it's a very important role. That's why Prithvi is considered mother, one of the mothers, because she provides the sustenance for all living entities. She is a mother. But modern science considers earth as something impersonal. They don't consider earth as a personality. And they do a lot of demoniac activities, drilling deep into the earth, and ugra karmas of mining and all those things. These are all, there is no consideration that she is actually a living personality. That is not some dead matter what we are perceiving. You are perceiving like that because our vision is like that. We have a dead vision. We see only matter. But we have to see the spirit also. We have to see the personality also. And if somebody recognizes that the earth is actually a personality, mother, and how will one deal with her? Can anybody deal with the mother in a cruel way? No. Currently, we are in a scenario where people have no understanding of this. They use this, sthanam, the capacity of the earth to construct, and they are constructing all kinds of things. For residences is fine, understandable, but then where is they're using earth for all kinds of purposes. So this kind of a misuse, transgressing the laws of the nature, will come back to the humanity in a different way. It is so that's why one has to carefully understand the laws of God. What are the functions that Krishna has assigned, and those functions are also according to how Krishna desired. So we have to see all this, and then only we will be aligning ourselves with the wish of the Supreme Lord. So because people are not aware of all this, they are implicated in so many sinful activities. Nobody knows the laws of this world. They're simply getting implicated day by day by their activities, and that will result in great misery. So today we see uh, even the elements have become miserable. They create a lot of misery to us. You go to some fields, as soon as you go there, there is a misery. Go to some water bodies, there is a misery. The whole elements are getting polluted by the activities of the human beings, and that will bring a lot of misery. We'll stop here. Any questions? Yeah.
Prabhu, you are mentioning about deity worship is very extremely important. Can you please elaborate and why it is important and how it's going to sustain our consciousness, Krishna consciousness?
So, we all have bodily concept of life. That means whatever we see with our eyes, we consider that to be the person. Particularly personalities, whoever we see is a person, that's all. We never see that, okay, it's a body, it's a machine, and inside there is a person, that is the spirit person, and is traveling. All that we don't see. Our vision has not come to that level. So when you see some form, somebody, immediately you know, oh, here is this devotee, here is this Dasa and all that. And imagine if you can take it like that for Krishna also. As soon as you see Krishna's form, oh, here is Krishna. What a big advancement. Krishna has come to receive some service from me. So devotees see unlimited mercy of the Lord when they see the form. And when they see, oh, Krishna's today decoration is so nice. We should also, so that if that kind of a training is there and then we are able to perceive like that, then it becomes very exciting. I am living in Krishna's palace. And living in Guru's ashrama, living in servant quarters. Palace means servants will be there. I am living in servant quarters. Not ordinary, huh? See, this kind of that feeling, and then feeling in relation to Krishna is very, very important. That means you are serving Krishna as a master, and we are acting as his servants. That is our position, and that's been practically experienced. Oh, Krishna is there. And on time, he has to be given the Naivedya, and his palace should be clean. Everything should be timely, and whoever comes to the palace are his guests, so we should take care nicely. His organization has to be done nicely, things should go on nicely. This devotee is continuously is feeling the presence of the Lord, and then he is feeling. Like when Krishna came to Dwaraka, how much excitement was there in the inhabitants of Dwaraka? Same thing has happened. Krishna has come here. So, that to develop that servitude and that rasa of dealing with Krishna directly in the sense via the transparent media. But experience is direct. You can directly feel Krishna is reciprocating to you. That opportunity is given by the deity worship, where Krishna himself directly comes down, but in a way that we can see. Like how you are seeing body and then the person is there. So similarly, you can see the body and then you can also see the supreme spiritual personality, supreme personality of Godhead you can see. So gradually devotees will get attached to that form, and they start thinking more and more, I am serving Krishna, I am serving Krishna, I want to serve nicely. These are the ideas that you automatically get when you realize that you are serving Krishna directly. You will be excited, now I want to serve more. Or whatever his service is there, I want to do it nicely. Because Krishna is receiving it. Let us say you have to keep a plate in front of a prime minister. How many times you will check that plate to see everything is pakka, and then the way you arrange every detail, pakka plan, now the plate is going in front of Krishna. Krishna, Dwarakadish, he is the supreme emperor. Now plate is going in front of. So now how to do that? There is one pastime, where Prabhupada comes to one temple and he had darshan of the deities and immediately he calls, where is the temple president, you call? The temple president rushes and comes. Yes, Prabhupada, what happened? He says, who cleaned the plate today for Naivedya? Prabhupada, yes, there is one bhakta is called. Prabhupada says, that plate was not cleaned properly and Krishna is complaining to me. See, he just came, Prabhupada just came and he had darshan and immediately is calling the temple president. Hey, where is this? Then everybody rushed to the Pujari, Astan Pujari room. Who is this bhakta? And then they asked, hey, Haribol, what is it? Prabhu, whatever the pujaris gave, I brought it. And but who washed it? I only washed it. So that washing is done. And then they asked pujaris, why you not? Today it was in a hurry, we could not see. They put all this. So like that it is. So when we become little, mechanical about all this, we don't realize that the person is actually receiving it and enjoying it. Krishna is enjoying all this. He eats. When somebody asks Prabhupada how many puris we should give to Krishna, he says, a 16-year-old boy, how many he will eat? A hungry 16-year-old. Give, no? So it's like, so Prabhupada is not seeing this thing. He is seeing Krishna. But he is waiting and you are asking all these questions. So that relationship building, experiencing the joy of serving, that is what deity worship offers. Because we are in that level now. We want bodies. We have to see the body. Something made up of these 5 elements. We have to see that body. Yes, Krishna said, okay, I am ready. Just come. Let us say there is one, let us say a person is very blackish and he goes to a place, some other country, where everybody has an eye disease. What is that eye disease? They can see only white. They cannot see black. So now this, say, black-bodied person, maybe some Africa, he landed up in that country where you can see only, people can see only white. That disease is there, eye disease is there. So now this black-bodied person, will he be visible to those people? No. But he is hungry, he wants something. So what he will do? What that African will do in that country? First, he will try to paint white. Because they can see only white. He will paint white and then he will stand. Then, hey, who are you? They will come. It is exactly like that. Krishna is there. He can come. When your chant is coming, you are not able to see. You have eye disease. You can only see this Panchabhuta. So what Krishna does? Panchabhuta coating. He puts a coating and he comes. That coating is the deity. Little thick coating. What is there? Right? So it's Krishna only, but for us to be visible, he has come down like that. Now he's waiting. Where is Naivedya? Where is the all those things? He enjoys the relationship with the devotees. So this is deity worship. Extremely merciful Krishna is. He is served by Sahasra Shata Sambhrama Sevyamana Lakshmi Sahasra Sata. So thousands and thousands of Lakshmis, how are they serving? Sambhrama, with great respect. Actually, for a Purusha, service from a concert or very pleasing. And here not just one Lakshmi, thousands are serving with great respect. That Krishna has come here. Now who is serving? And we have no Sambrama. We're still calculating Krishna or no Krishna. The mind is always like that. It creates doubts. Maya is like that. So that's why our services are all offered by Prabhupada only. He offers with great sambrama and love. Krishna accepts only love. So these are the great benefits of deity worship. It indicates greatest mercy, Krishna's mercy and Guru's mercy. Yes.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So how can we see Krishna in everyone?
So as we continue to perform our deity services, when we realize the deity's presence, Krishna is present, personally present, then gradually the next step would be to recognize that, oh, there are many devotees. I am not only me and deity, next to me there are some devotees are also there. So when you see that, okay, there are other Vaishnavas are also there and they are also dear to Krishna, oh, acha. So that means they are also valuable to Krishna. Then you will understand how to respect other Vaishnavas, how to respect and see other Vaishnavas. It's very important because neophyte means he is very fascinated by the Lord in the deity form, but he doesn't know how to give respect to other Vaishnavas. He doesn't understand how to deal with other Vaishnavas, how to respect them, he doesn't understand. But when it comes to deity, he is alert, fully alert and very respectful and he is focusing nicely, all those things. So gradually he'll realize that there are many other Vaishnavas and within those Vaishnavas there are some categories that also devotee pursues. As he is advancing, he will see, oh, there are some Kanishtas, there are Madhyamas, there are pure devotees, and most importantly, he understands who is a Vaishnava and who is a non-Vaishnava. He also segregates. Outside that there could be many non-devotees. He understands who is a non-devotee and who is a devotee. And within the devotee, he knows who is very serious and doing his things nicely, services nicely. And so he realizes some kind of, he sees that. And he recognizes who are envious of Krishna. This is called Madhyama stage. So from the neophyte stage, he moves on to Madhyama stage where there is a discrimination is there. And then comes the ultimate stage, that is pure devotee, where he is seeing that everybody is actually serving better than him. Everybody is serving Krishna. even better than me. He goes into a higher level where he's seeing, okay, he may be a karmi working for his own enjoyment and all that, but that is permitted by Lord. And he's serving Lord's energy, material energy. Service to chal rahe. As Krishna wanted, Krishna only permitted. So he's going on as per Krishna's wish. So he's seeing the Krishna's presence in everything, in every action, and he recognizes that actually they're all serving so busily. Krishna permitted, Krishna's energy, and services are going on, and Krishna is managing the whole world using all these jivas, conditioned jivas. Jail maintenance also requires some hands, no? There are so many prisoners are there. Maya is engaging all of them in maintenance, destruction, and creation. These are the only things goes on here: creation, maintenance, and destruction. Sometimes some people will be very geared up to destroy. Maya says, okay, go ahead. Some terrorists will be there. They're fired up. We don't know what is their philosophy, but they're very fired up to destroy. Go ahead. Maya uses them. Anyway, destruction is required. And here are the some jivas excited about it. Chalo, you do it. So, when a pure devotee sees all these actions, he is perceiving Krishna. Without his sanction, without his presence, none of these things can go on. So he doesn't become angry on anybody, he doesn't become any. In fact, he is saying, Arey, they are serving so nicely. And I am not serving. And sometimes they may think that I am actually worse than the worms in the stool, because he sees himself is not very properly engaged. So he thinks, I am such a bad, I am not, he feels very different inside. Extreme humility. Okay, so these are the stages in which gradually we will perceive Krishna's actions, Krishna's presence. Presence of Krishna doesn't mean only the form. When we say Krishna's presence everywhere, not only the form, but you see his actions. His sanctioning power, you see how he has sanctioned. For example, some aircraft crashed. It is not accidental. There is a sanction. And in that crash, Bhagavad Gita survived. Some Laddu Gopal survived. So these are the devotees, continuously they perceive Krishna in everything. That is a very high standard. Gradually we have to develop that vision. First is to recognize other Vaishnavas and see that there are some innocent people, they can also become devotees, and see how I can preach to them. Bring them into Krishna consciousness. Our mission is this to preach and bring as many people as possible into this mission. We are known as Goshti Anandis. That means as the Vaishnava Goshti increases, that means numbers increase, we become happy. Prabhupada has, he is a Goshti Anandi. He has created innumerable Vaishnavas. Okay, so stop. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, this deity installed in a temple, that is, as you explained, as per the Agama Shastra. So deity installed in a temple, that's Satchidanand form of the Lord. Lord personally present, entered inside that.
Yeah.
Now, sometime our congregation devotees, they are having the deities.
Yeah.
So that is not installed.
Yeah.
So is there a difference between the deity installed in temple and deity which congregation devotees have? Or there is no difference? Because form is authorized.
Yeah, form is authorized.
Form is authorized. One side process, like that whatever Agama Shastra, that process is, even though that is not done in congregation devotees, the deity, but form is authorized. So is there any difference or there is no difference?
When the say congregation, they say, let us say they start worshipping Gaura, and say the first Abhisheka they do, that itself is considered installation. There are many levels. So as soon as somebody takes a vow and starts the process of worship, just one Abhisheka is enough, that's considered installation. I remember in Hyderabad, our deities, Gaura, we just did Mahabhisheka, first Abhisheka, and installation is complete. And then we started worshipping regularity. Whatever we have accepted, that regularity is important. And they would have taken permission from the authorities or whatever, and then they have started their regular worship. So it all is part of the installation. So they are also directly worshipping Gaura. In fact, Prabhupada says in one place, for Gaura, you can just keep them as lucky charms also. Lucky charm means they keep that Chinese Buddha and all those. They think it brings luck. Prabhupada is saying you can keep Gaura just like that. As lucky charms. You keep. Look at that form, when they see, there is an auspiciousness. They might not be worshipping, but the moment they see the form, that recollection, that remembrance, very, very auspicious. So, when the forms are there, we should not neglect. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You mentioned about to accomplish anything, we need 5 things. One is place. Remaining 4, what is that?
In the 18th chapter, Krishna explains. So the first one is Adhisthanam.
Yeah.
Then Tata Karta. Karta means the doer. Yeah, Adhisthanam, that means place of action. That means the place.
Place.
For us, individually, it is the body. And then the performer.
Second is performer.
Performer.
Okay.
Somebody has to perform.
Yeah.
That's the soul. And then the senses. Senses means through this knowledge acquiring and working, 10 senses. Then important point here is Prutag Vidaha. Endeavor is required. Endeavor. Prutag Vidaha means in various ways you have to endeavor. Each work requires one type of endeavor.
Example.
Let us say you want to, there is a mango on the tree. You want to, get that. So you may throw a stone. But let us say there is some, but that there is something else hanging and you want to get it. You cannot throw stones there. Let us say there is you want to get that down, one fan, let us say. You can't throw stones there. Same endeavor will not work.
Correct.
You want to bring down the fan, it requires a different kind of an endeavor. So to do works, accomplish, you should know what kind of an endeavor, and we have to go on doing. And then Prutag Vidaha, then finally Daivam, Krishna's sanction. We may do everything very nicely, but if there is no Krishna's sanction, it will not happen. You will not accomplish.
Right.
Only labor. You have put some. This can be applied to business also. Like place of action means, somebody wants to set up a business, some place, good location, restaurant. Obviously, you'll put it in a place where there is a lot of floating crowd, right? And then performer, yes, the institution trying to do senses, instruments. Some instruments are required, cash box. These are so many software. These are so many instruments. Then you have to endeavor. Endeavor is compulsory everywhere. Finally, Krishna has to sanction. It may be a very crowded place, but then it may not be successful. So, of course, more deeply we have to understand these factors, and then, yes, one can accomplish anything in this world. So, since Krishna is also part of the endeavor and whatever success, accomplishment, we should never claim that everything has come because of me. Any accomplishment, let us say you got a good collection or good business turnover or good this thing, we should not claim that I am the only doer. I did it. Hare Krishna is there, no, part of the whole thing. He is your partner. So if you don't recognize partner, then what will happen? Business will anything that we do, we have a partner. Krishna is there. So that's why this doership is illusion. Illusion means is not seeing the truth. Krishna is tightly involved. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.